That was when the real shift happened. My ex went into the store to buy some water because she was dehydrated and needed a minute to breathe. It was just me and her mom sitting there in that empty parking lot, the engine of the old sedan humming softly now that I'd gotten it running again. Her mom looked at me with this weak, tired smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, the kind of smile that shows you exactly how much pain someone is holding back.
She thanked me.
But her voice was so thin and fragile that it barely carried across the space between us. And then she kept talking, like she'd been holding all these words inside for years, and they were finally spilling out. She started telling me about how hard life had been since I left the picture, how her health was falling apart piece by piece, how she was in and out of hospitals more than she was in her own bed. She kept saying over and over how much she regretted how things ended between me and her daughter, like she'd been replaying that breakup dinner in her head just as much as I had. I tried to brush it off like I always do, because I hate emotional conversations more than anything in this world. My brain was screaming at me to just say, "It's cool," and walk away, to get back in my car and drive off before things got too heavy. But her mom wouldn't stop talking, and she wouldn't let go of my hand either. She grabbed my wrist with this grip that was so weak I could barely feel it, but it stopped me dead in my tracks anyway. She looked me right in the eyes and said she wanted me to know that I always treated her right, that I was always respectful, that I was like a son to her, and she never got to say that properly. And that hit me way harder than I expected it to, because the truth is, I hadn't been perfect in that relationship at all. I'd made so many mistakes, gotten angry at stupid little things that didn't matter, stopped listening when she tried to talk to me, focused on work instead of her, left so much unsaid between us. Sitting there in that parking lot looking at her mom's tired face, all that guilt came rushing back like a wave I couldn't escape from. She didn't want to hear me apologize, though, and she didn't want to hear me make excuses for myself. She wanted to tell me something important, something she'd been holding on to for a long time. She leaned in close to me, and because of her age and her exhaustion, her voice dropped so low that I had to lean in until my ear was practically touching her lips. She whispered something, so simple but so terrifyingly pure that it shook me right down to my core. She didn't whisper a secret about my ex. She didn't whisper some old family recipe or a piece of life advice. She whispered something that completely shattered the wall I'd built around myself. She said, "You don't have to forgive her, but please, forgive yourself." I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach, like all the air had been sucked right out of my lungs. I physically leaned back from her, my heart pounding in my chest, my hands shaking. For 2 whole years, I'd been walking around carrying this massive weight on my shoulders, telling myself I was over it, telling myself I was fine, going on dates and hanging out with friends and acting like I'd moved on. But underneath all of that pretending, I was still pissed. At her, at myself, at the whole situation. I thought I was angry about getting dumped, but the truth was way uglier than that. I was angry at myself for failing, for not being good enough, for not fixing us the same way I'd just fixed that car in 10 minutes. Her mom hit the nail right on the head, and she knew it too. I was still punishing myself, still living in that breakup like a ghost haunting my own house, replaying every fight and every mistake over and over again. I looked down at my hands, and they were covered in grease and dirt from the engine. And I thought about how I could fix a dead battery, but I couldn't fix my own broken heart. I'd been trying to do that for 2 years, and I was still completely broken inside. I realized in that moment that I'd been so worried about what my ex thought of me, what her mom thought of me, what everyone thought of me, that I completely forgot to think about what I thought of myself. I was so wrapped up in trying to be the good guy, the ex who shows up to save the day, that I was running on empty and had been for a very long time. I sat down on the curb right there in the parking lot, not caring that people were walking past me with their groceries and looking at us weird. I just sat there on the concrete and let everything wash over me, all the memories and regrets and feelings I'd been stuffing down for years. I replayed the relationship in my head, the good parts and the bad parts, the fights and the quiet dinners, the nights I stayed up late playing video games instead of talking to her, the little things I let slip away, the resentment that grew between us because we both stopped communicating. And I finally understood that it wasn't just her fault. It wasn't just my fault either. It was the fault of two young people who thought love was enough to conquer everything without realizing that love needs maintenance too. It needs oil changes. It needs new tires. It needs constant attention and care, just like any machine does. And here's the crazy part that really hit me. The car wasn't the only thing that needed fixing that day. Her mom knew that. She knew I came there to fix a machine, but she wanted to fix my soul while she still had the chance. I looked at her mom, sitting there on that walker, so frail and weak, and I realized that Whisper wasn't just for me. It was for her, too. She was dying. I could see it clearly in her eyes, in the way her skin hung loose on her bones, in the way she struggled to breathe. That whisper was her way of making things right before she left this planet, her way of clearing the air and setting me free. She didn't want me to carry that baggage into my next relationship. She wanted me to be free and happy and whole again. It sounds cheesy and dramatic, but it's the truth. Old people see things that young people miss completely. They see the pain you try to hide under your hoodie and your tough guy act. They see the fear and the regret and the loneliness you pretend doesn't exist. My ex finally came back out of the store with the water bottles, and she stopped. When she saw me sitting on the curb like that, she didn't know what had just happened between me and her mom. She just saw me looking broken and confused. She handed me a bottle of water and thanked me again for fixing the car. And it wasn't a romantic moment at all. It was just awkward and strange and uncomfortable. But in that awkwardness, I saw her clearly for the first time in 2 years. She wasn't the monster I'd made her out to be in my head. She wasn't this evil villain who ruined my life. She was just a scared girl trying to take care of her sick mom, trying to hold everything together while the world fell apart around her. I don't know if she ever realized how much I loved her back then. And honestly, I don't think it matters anymore. The point is, I finally understood that love isn't always about holding on. Sometimes it's about letting go of the resentment and the guilt and the anger that's eating you alive. The drive home was the weirdest feeling. I wasn't sad and I wasn't happy either. I was just light, like someone had taken a 100-pound backpack off my shoulders. I realized that when you hold on to anger and regret, it's like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. And I'd been drinking that poison for 2 long years without even realizing it. It was my ex's mom, the sick lady sitting in that parking lot, who finally took the glass away from me and saved my life. So what's the takeaway from all of this? If you're holding on to a grudge against an ex or a family member or a friend, just know that the only person you're really hurting is yourself. The burden of regret is heavy and it keeps you stuck in the past, replaying the same mistakes over and over, hoping the ending will change. But it never does. The past is the past and it's a closed door. The only way forward is through forgiveness, not of them, but of yourself. And I know that sounds like some self-help nonsense you'd see on a motivational poster, but hearing it from a frail old woman who just needed a jump start, for her car was enough to kick me right in the chest and wake me up. She didn't have to say anything to me. She could have just let me leave and go home. But she saw a broken boy pretending to be a man, and she decided to fix him while I fixed her car. I sat in my driveway for a while after I got home, not going inside, just looking at the car that was running perfectly fine because of me. And I thought about how we treat ourselves like old machines, ignoring the warning signs until we break down.